Hey guys, welcome back to Sammy the Bull. This segment is about people's comments, and here we go. These first three questions come from a guy named Nick N. He's one of my loyal subscribers on at.with. He says, Sammy, did word get back in prison that Joe Massino had changed the name of the Bonanno family to the Massino family? And no. It never got back to me. I never heard that. I heard it long ago. So let's see what his next question is here. Sammy, is there a rule about how many lists of made guys each family could have? And who holds on to it? No, there's no list of guys. They keep their own list, each family. When they get a guy who's proposed to become a made guy, they pass it around to the families, and either it's approved or disapproved. So now let me get to his next question. Nick says, Sammy, you said you lived in Brooklyn and then Staten Island and usually went home very early. But did you ever have a side spot in New York City or stay at some nice hotels there? No, usually no. I didn't stay at hotels. I went home to my wife and my kids. You know, it was late by the time I got done, and I wanted to have some sort of a family life. Nick, thank you so much for your questions. I appreciate you. I appreciate your subscription. I look forward to hearing from you again. Now I'm going to get to the next guy who gave me some comments. Kenneth S. Sammy, can you tell more about the initiation ceremony when you got made? What kind of a knife was used? What saint was used on the card that was burnt? Those kind of things. As far as the saint that was used, I'm not sure. I forgot the name of the saint. Use the regular little pen knife, cut your finger starts bleeding, you put it on the saint, and then they burn it in your hand. You can juggle it back and forth because it does burn your hands. And when it's done, you rub it together, it's all ash, and it goes into the ashtray, and you take your oath. So now we're gonna go to another question from Kenneth S. as well. Sammy, the question was, why wasn't Joe Bonanno killed for violating the omertà by writing his book on Cosa Nostra? He wasn't killed because he was chased out of New York, and he wrote a book. He lived in Arizona, he had a cotton farm, cattle farm, and he left with his son, who was the consigliere family, and they just put him on no pay me no mind list. They didn't bother to kill him. At one point, Paul talked to me about killing him, and I told him, if you want me to go there, I'll do whatever you want me to do. And in the conversation, when he thought about it, he said, this is the Bonanno family's problem. Forget about what I said. But they never killed him. Kenneth, I really appreciate your comments and your questions, and keep them coming. This is a question by Billy Ryan. Well, hi Sammy, I love your videos on The Godfather. I know back then there wasn't a lot of information on the Mafia. What rank was Salvatore? I don't think he was a boss or anything like that. I think he was a heavyweight in the Mafia on the drug side. And The Godfather refused him, and then this whole war broke out. Now let me see what other question I got. The last question we have is, do you get made more when guys like you or when they fear you? It's a combination of things. You know, guys who are feared are well liked too. They're not just animals. They're not like Roy DeMeo, serial killers. And most of the guys in the family are tough guys and are killers. They're feared by a lot of people, but we don't fear each other unless you're a scumbag. So if you're well liked and you're a tough guy, I'm sure this helps you to become a made guy. Billy R., thank you so much for your questions and your comments. Keep them coming, and I really appreciate it. Hot take here, but I doubt if New York City would be in shambles like it currently is if the families had the same power now as they did back then. What are your thoughts on that? No, my thoughts are that half of this stuff would never happen if the families were there. Thank you again, Seven Fliss. My next question is from Bruto4162. Sammy was badass looking at the younger pictures. Scared the shit out of me. It's crazy how friendly he is despite how dangerous he could be. You would never know he had a sense of humor unless you were friends with him. Thanks for your comment. You know, I do have a sense of humor, and a lot of people don't know me like that. This is a question from Truthfully Speaking 2001. My question is, if Sammy warned Paul and still got whacked out because they couldn't trust him and the relationship he had with the conspirators. Thanks for your question. I think it answers itself. If he didn't take the warning and he got whacked out, it's on him. Here's a question from Don Blanco. I got a question. Did you ever call anyone Don? Like Don Carlo or Don Vincenzo? No, when you talk to somebody, you don't call him Don, whatever, normally. When you're talking about him, you'll call him a Don. He's a Don Carlo. But I don't think you walk up to a man and say, hey, Don Carlo. You don't do that, I don't think. I never did. It's more of a movie thing and stuff like that. Maybe in Italy, but no, not in the United States. But I'm still the Don of social media. So you can call me a Don. Last question from Optimal. Here's a question for ya. Here's a question for ya. Have made guys always been historically introduced as Amiga Nostra? And if so, that terminology brought over from the old country? So it's not Omega, it's Amiga. Amiga Nostra. So that's the pronunciation of it, Amiga Nostra. If so, that terminology brought over from the old country? Yes, that terminology did come from the old country. In the United States, we either say he's Amiga Nostra or he's a friend of ours, telling us that he's a me guy. Great questions. Thanks a lot for the questions. Keep them coming. All right, this is from Sherry Murray, 8268. When I tell you you're the best, I am serious. I mean, I just became a widow, lost not only my mom, but 4 months later, my husband. And I am 55 years old. Your show just makes sense, and I was happy when you got baptized. Thank you for setting true examples for others. Thank you again, Sammy. You're a good guy now. Sending love from Atlantic City. Thank you so much, Sherry. I appreciate that very much. Thank you guys for all the questions. These were great. I'm going to sign off someday. If you want to send your comments, send your comments. I'm going to do some more shows and talk about your comments with you. So I'm going to sign off with my normal adios, motherfuckers.